Hello everyone, welcome to the Sunday Sweat Club. I have a very fun, nerdy way that we're going to start today. So if you haven't practiced with me before, this is new. But I just got my favorite deck of tarot cards back from the retreat center that I forgot them at almost a year ago. That's how lazy I am to go pick stuff up. So today I'm going to pull a card. I'm going to read the intention of the card. Maybe it will resonate with you, maybe it doesn't. But the idea is to pull your intention. So our intention is the reason we practice, right? The why you are here today. Pull your intention out of something that card says. So if you like, you can begin and just find a really comfortable seat. I'm going to read the card to you and you can close your eyes. But first, actually, I should show you it because these cards are really pretty. They're my favorite deck, and if you have questions later, oh my gosh. Okay, so our card today is a humpback whale. It's called The World, and it says fulfillment and celebration. So that will be the tone that will be setting our class today. My sister loves humpback whales. It's like literally her favorite thing in the world. That's a story for another time. Okay, so find yourself in a comfortable seat, maybe on a cushion, maybe you could even be on a chair if that feels better for your body today. Perhaps legs extended out in front of you, whatever works. And then just let your hands maybe rest on your knees or somewhere comfortable. So I want you to be relaxed. And then you can just listen to this lovely little story I'm going to read you about the whale. So this card is The World. It is from the Major Arcana, which is something that my hippie friends tell me is really lovely and important. I'm not sure how it works, but the message for today, and so remember, you'll be thinking about what you want your intention to be for class today. How do you want to bring this into your practice? So, the guardian of the cosmos, Whale's awareness of the world around her provides her with a deeper connection to all that is. In reaching her destination, she dives into the portal of new potential. She's here to call to mind that life is a continuous process of becoming. You've worked hard and are nearing the finish line. Everything is successfully coming together. Celebrate your achievements. Your consciousness is moving towards higher levels. The insight you've acquired has empowered you with a deeper connection to the energies around and within you. So the keywords are fulfillment, celebration, freedom, completion, growth, and goals achieved. And I think something important to think about is a lot of times we always look to the next goal. What are we going to do next? We constantly set goals. So maybe you can briefly reflect, if you haven't thought of anything yet, on something to celebrate, a goal, something that has happened that you've already reached that perhaps you haven't given enough honor to. So we will carry the card of the whale with us for our practice today. I'll put it here just so the energy is with us, and then we'll begin with some nice breath work. So take your left hand to your heart, your right hand to your belly. And just get curious about how big you can make your diaphragm expand. So take the biggest inhale you possibly can and feel that in the hands. And then when you exhale, let the body contract, let the hands fall towards one another. Try that again. See if you can get it a little bit bigger this time. You might be going at a different speed, and that's fine. This is just a conscious expansion of the diaphragm. Maybe you take an extra sip of air. And then once more, when you're ready to exhale, the hands will sort of contract towards one another as the belly pulls in. Let's take that again. Inhale. Expand, expand, expand. Maybe a little bit more air, maybe a little bit more, a few sips. And then when you're ready, once more at your own speed, the hands will contract. Take 3 more like this. Feeling this wave rhythm of your own breath in your body. Once you've finished your 3 rounds, you can keep your eyes closed. Release your hands, and you are going to transition very slowly to lying down on your back on your mat. So you can come to a brief Shavasana, and then take 3 more of these expansive breaths. So feel how they change in a new position. And maybe in the reclined version, you can feel the back of the ribs pushing against the mat, perhaps changing the shape a little bit. And then after 3 rounds of breath, zip your legs together so your feet come to touch. And then reach your hands up above your head. So you can just relax the arms up above the head. It'll create a little bit of a bend in the low back. And then once the feet are touching, just let them relax and the toes will fall out, the heels will fall in. So with your eyes closed, we'll do a little scan of the shape of your body. So again, the hands are above the head, the feet are together but relaxed, and the toes fall out to the side. You should notice there is a slope on the low back. So try to trace in your mind's eye the shape of the low back up to the mid back. This little rainbow that's created by reaching. And then once you've observed this shape, the only thing you're going to change is to bring your arms down by your side and then do the same scan. How did the shape of the low back change? How did the shape of the mid back change? Let's try that again. Inhale the hands up over the head. Notice how maybe the ribs start to flare, the chest changes. Which part of the back is touching the mat? So where does your spine touch the mat here? Maybe you can even get really scientific and be like, this vertebra, if you know the numbers. I don't, but maybe someone does. And then arms come down. Again, notice which vertebra is on the mat. And how does that change things? Now, if you're finding that you have a really big arch in the low back and it's almost uncomfortable, that's okay. That might mean you just have a bigger booty. You've got more of a lift between the butt and the ground, completely normal. Let's all take our feet together now and then toes curl back. So you might want to lift your butt up slightly, curl your toes back towards your shin, and try to lengthen the torso while pulling the core in. So instead of having this arch, remember the hands are down by the sides now, so we're not putting too much pressure on the low back. Curl the toes back towards the shins like you're standing on the ground, but you're flat. So just pretend you're standing. But instead of allowing the ribs to flare out like they might when you're standing, pull the core in. Think about tucking your ribs and your hips together. Like you're shortening the space between the ribs and the hips, and hold there. If you find this easy, that might mean you're not tucking enough, because this should be a little bit challenging. 3, 2. Good. 1. Relax. And then let's draw the left knee into the chest and then the right knee. Now you can sort of adjust and push the low back down to the mat. Rock side to side on the low back. For me, holding that position tends to create a little bit of pressure in the low back because I do have a space that's a little bit bigger. And so this is a great opportunity maybe to create circles with the hands and massage in a clockwise or counterclockwise direction, and then switch and eventually go the opposite direction, just giving the low back the love and care it deserves. As a side note, if you are ever having your period, this is a fantastic way to massage the low back. When you get low back pain. Okay, come back to center. Keep the knees in towards the chest, release the hands by the sides. Again, you could still have your eyes closed. This is a really nice way, when the eyes are closed, we're super present in the body. And you don't need to use your eyes necessarily, because I'm not going to bring you through anything too complicated. So on your next breath in, stretch your feet up towards the sky like you're standing on the ceiling, and then curl the toes back towards the shin again. So from here, push your palms down into the mat, and then we're going to lower the feet very slowly, but as soon as your low back starts to lift off of the mat, I want you to stop. And now you can keep the low back on the mat a bit longer by thinking ribs to hips, tucking that space down and in. But as soon as you feel it lift at all, just stop there and hold. 3, 2, and 1. Oh, back up to center, feet towards the ceiling. Take a breath in. Let's try that again. And this can be slow. So focus on the spine, flex the feet, toes to the shin, and then with the legs as straight as possible. They might be a little bit bent, that's fine. You're just going to lower the feet towards the ground. Once the low back lifts, stop. 3, 2, should be challenging. 1, lift the feet back up. Knees can come into the chest. Give yourself a hug again. Maybe you want to take those circles. All right, now let's take the feet down on the ground, hip width distance apart. Reach your hands up above your head. So now that the feet are on the ground, you can push the low back down into the mat. So readjust, lift the hips up, and then push the low back down into the mat. Even with the arms overhead, you should be able to have kind of the low back pressing. If not, and you're struggling to reach the arms up and over the head without the low back lifting with the feet on the ground, means you just might have a little work to do on shoulder mobility. It's not a big deal, just different shapes, different bodies. From here, with the arms up, you will just inhale, lift the hips high. Your hands could be on the ground behind you, back of hands relaxing to the ground. Hold there, 3, 2, and then 1, lower the hips down, push the low back down into the mat. So we're moving a bit from a straight spine up into a tiny bit of a back bend. Inhale, lift the hips up, push the hip flexors towards the ceiling, spread the ribs apart. See if you can lift through the chest a bit more. 3, 2, and 1, lower down all the way to the ground. You can draw one knee towards the chest and then the other, and rock and roll forward on the mat, up and down. Basically coming up to a seat, but take like 5. So rocking forward and back on the spine, trying to hit every vertebra as you move. Just a little bit of a challenge. If you have any low back issues, you can remember you can roll to one side and then press up to a seat. Once you are there, and I said like 5, so make sure you actually did like 5, you can put your wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, and come to a tabletop pose. Perfect. From here, nice and easy, drop the belly, roll the shoulders back, gaze forward as you inhale. And then exhale, tuck and round through the spine. Again, inhale, drop the belly, shoulders back, look forward. Exhale, tuck and round. Once more, belly drop, shoulders back, gaze forward. And then tuck into cat. Now a little bit of free play, free movement. So if you have anything else you would like to add in, you can either continue to move in cat and cow, or maybe you start to sway side to side, option to push the butt back towards the heels. This is just to create a little bit more space, a little bit more energy in the body. And also another opportunity to be like, hey, how do I feel today? What is it that I can observe? Take a few more breaths. And then slide your knees back. So instead of hands moving, knees slide slightly, elbows move back and lower all the way down to your belly. Perfect. From here, bring your hands forward and relax your head on your hands. You might create a diamond shape with your finger and thumb. And then head comes down, option to look at me if you need to, but you are just going to bend in both knees and imagine that you're standing on the ceiling with your feet. So your knees are at a 90-degree bend.
push your hips down into the mat. So can you push the hip bones down into the mat? As you lift the feet up towards the ceiling, you might just hold here with the bend, or try and lift the right knee up off of the ground. Maybe you can get the right thigh up off the ground while the left stays down. And then if that feels okay, lower right down and try to lift left up. If you feel any pressure on the knees, come back to center. And if you feel any pressure on the knees, you can just take less than a 90-degree bend. Let's do this again. Push the hips down to the ground. Inhale, maybe you lift right knee up. Now here's the really fun part. Try to keep the right knee as high as it is, but lift the left knee up to meet it. Oh, hold there if you can. 3. And if your knee dropped, you're normal and human. 2. 1, lower both knees down. Take a breath in. Breath out. All right, you're going to switch it over to the opposite side. So now prep, get ready, nice and strong. And then lift your opposite leg up. Lift, lift, lift. See how high you can get. And then from there, lift the other one and try to keep them both high. Squeeze, squeeze, and lift. Squeeze and lift. Hold there. 3. Squeeze higher. 2. And 1. Both knees down. Extend the legs long. Nice work. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale, lift up into our Sphinx pose. So elbows will be a little bit further in front of the shoulders. Palms come down to the ground. Now, if this feels really intense in the low back already, I'd like you to take a half Sphinx by sliding your hands forward. So this is just a little bit of a lifted version of what we just did. You don't have to get too intense. Listen to your body, bend into one knee, and then bend into the other. Flex the feet so your legs are at about a 90-degree bend, and then try and lift your right foot up towards the ceiling. So maybe you can get the knee off the ground, maybe the thigh off the ground. Option to be working here. If you're up in Sphinx, it's gonna be like 30 times harder and you might not lift, and that's fine. Okay, now from here, in Sphinx I can't do it. Try and lift both knees up. Hold there, 3. Lift the legs up, 2. And 1, release. Take a breath in. Breath out. Okay, let's do the other side. Now you can lift the left knee up. If that feels okay, try to lift the right knee up, squeezing and lifting. Reminder, you can always have your arms lower, holding here. 3, 2, 1. Lower knees down, head down, everything down. Take a full breath and rock your hips side to side to release through the low back. Breath in. Breath out. Okay, hands slide by your sides into push-up position. Curl your toes under. Option 1, you can push up to tabletop. Nice and slow, mindful push-up, right? Option 2, maybe you push up to plank. And then we all lower the knees down, walking the knees under the hips. Take a breath in, extend your left leg back. So we're starting with the left leg. And then step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Option to stay here if this already feels intense, or slide your right knee back as far as you can get it. So you're coming to the space above the kneecap. You're not actually on the knee in this version. Now, push your weight into your hands. Chest is forward. So drop the belly and relax the belly with the shoulder blades squeezing. At the same time, relax through your right hip flexor. So maybe some of you remember we taught a class where after we did this stretch, we looked at one hip flexor compared to the other. And we can do that again today if you like, just because it's always interesting to see. You're welcome to hold a stagnant pose or perhaps sway side to side to try and deepen the posture a little bit more. Now from here, if you are someone with really open hip flexors, you might decide to bend into your back knee and hold. If that feels okay, you might take your left hand and reach back and grab for the outside of the foot, trying to pull that knee towards the butt. Either way, outside, inside, I don't really care. But ideally what we're doing is we're finding a stretch on both the hip flexor and your quads. So the giant muscles in the front. Option, again, I'll just keep giving options for the rest of my life. Option to lower down to your forearm. I don't know if you would need to do that if you're feeling an intense stretch on the quad, but you can try it, see what happens, and then maybe be like, I have made a severe miscalculation, and you can come back out of it. Hold in whatever stretch you've chosen. We're just working on this hip flexor. 3. Good patience, everybody. 2. I recommend if you do this at home, you do this for at least 3 minutes. 1. And if you have the foot, release it slowly. Hands come down to the ground. Great. Now curl your back toe under, lift your back knee up. Finding this stretch, a different variety. If you're feeling any pain on the wrist, you could walk the hands forward slightly or put knuckles down into the ground, and you'll be working with straight wrists. Sway forward and back, side to side. So just move forward and back while you're trying to push that right hip flexor down to the ground. Option to move left and right a little bit. It's almost like you're easing your way deeper into the stretch. We're kind of telling that internal regulator that our body is safe. That's okay to get a bit deeper. Hold for 3, 2. Perfect. 1, bring the back knee down, walk the hands back if they were forward, and then slide the left leg back until your knees are together. Curl your toes under and sit down into broken toe pose. If this is uncomfortable, you could just be up here. Either way, we are going to sit and find 5 breaths. If you're on your heels, let your butt be really heavy. Relax through the feet and toes. Inhale. Exhale. That's probably close-ish to 5, I feel like. Inhale, come on back up. Take your knees hip-width distance apart. And then just bring your hands to your hips, look down at your thighs. Try to make sure your knees are right in line. Maybe you can notice that your left hip is a bit further forward than your right hip. And you might have to pull your pants tight to see the difference because it's very minute. But just notice, is one thigh further forward when you're pushing both hips forward the same amount? Simple observation. If you can't see it, no worries. You just might need to do it a little longer next time. Bring the hands down to the ground. Let's move on to the opposite side. Step your right foot forward. And then push the left knee down and back. So remember how gradually we went on this? And this is because our peak pose today, we need open hip flexors. It's got to happen, team, or we can't do it. It's impossible. So we're going to open these bad boys up from here. Option to just hold in this version. Swaying side to side, finding the stretch. This could be enough for you, and it's already, I can feel a lot of work in the hip flexor for me. From here, if you'd like, you could bend into the back knee. Remember, you're not on the kneecap. If you're bending the knee, you are above the kneecap, not on the knee. You might hold in this version as you push the left hip down. Perhaps you can reach back with the right hand and grab for the outside or inside of the foot, pulling the foot in towards the butt. Once I have the foot, I like to kind of turn my fingers out to the side, you'll notice. I've rotated through the hand a little bit for more stability. Oh, this leg is intense, team. So I am going to just stay here, but remember you always have the option to come down to your forearm if you're crazy and you're feeling like you need more of a stretch. I'm always envious of the dancers in my class because you can tell because they have the most open hips and I'm here just like groaning through it. So if you're groaning at all, don't worry. Relax the body, relax the face. Gentle push of that hip down towards the ground. Three. Maybe swaying a little bit. 2. And 1. Release. Believe me, I'm happy to be out of that, just as happy as you. Hands come down to the ground. Option. You could keep staying or lift the back knee up off the ground. And now we come to kind of this movement stretch. So you're going to sway forward and back, push the left hip flexor down to the ground, finding depth. This is that time when it's almost like our body's a little baby and we're rocking it into a sense of comfort, being like, it's okay to be this intense. It's okay. A little bit longer. Wonderful. Okay, relax the knee down. Woof. Then slide that foot back. We'll skip broken toe pose this time and just come up, knees together, hands on the hips, pushing both hip flexors forward. Maybe your hips are hopefully in alignment now. And if they're not, no worries, just more time to work on them. Take a breath in and a breath out. Okay, we are going to come to standing. So option 1, you can find your way to standing. Option 2, you can come to standing from here by stepping your right foot forward, push up, left foot forward, and then stand at the top of the mat, hands by your sides, Tadasana. All right, a brief Tadasana. So
Take your feet hip width distance apart. Spread your toes wide and then lock them down onto the floor. So they're really firm and locked. From here, take one hand to your low belly. Let's take the left hand to the low belly. Right hand to the low back. Now tuck your pelvis first, trying to bring your ribs and your hips together. Feel the squeeze of the core in. It's almost like you're trying to get rid of your butt. Like I'm going to come around and poke your butt and you're like, oh, squeeze the butt in. Perfect. Now we're going to do the opposite. So from here, tilt the pelvis backwards. Try to stick your butt out at everybody. And you should be able to feel this movement within the hands, right? Almost like we're moving a glass of water and forward and back. So we're going to do the two movements. Tuck the pelvis forward, ribs to hips. If your neighbor's looking in the window, they'll be like, what is happening right now? And then do the opposite. Tilt the pelvis like you're pouring water out of the pelvis and forward, butt moves back. Okay, come to center, hands by your side, Tadasana. Inhale, sweep up, look up. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to either plank or tabletop. And then elbows will move backwards, lower down slowly. 4, 3, 2, and 1 to your belly. Okay, we are going to show our shoulders some love. So I do want to give some options. If you have blocks, I do not have blocks. Weird, right? You could stack them at the top of the mat, because what we are going to do is you are going to put your fists down on the mat, thumbs up. You may remember this. We may have done this before recently. I'm not sure. So fists are going to be down on the mat, thumbs up. If you've got a block, you might put them up higher on the block. That's the option, is either here or 2 blocks here, giving you a little bit of time to set up. Relax your forehead down to the ground. Make sure there's nothing in your space, because we are going to do a little swimmer of moving elbows down and back. Push your hands down into the mat first. So forehead to the mat, and now push your hands down hard. Push, 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 like you're trying to push them through the floor. You might be shaking a lot. That's fine and fantastic. That means you feel all the muscles on the side of your triceps, your arm, everything's engaged. 3, 2, and now 1. Lift your thumbs up to the sky as high as you can. Higher, higher, higher. How high can you lift them? Perfect. From here, flip the thumbs down to the ground and slowly swim the arms back as you rotate through the shoulders. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Eventually, take the knuckles together and hover them above the low back without touching. Stay here. Breath in. Breath out. Okay, straighten the arms. Rotate very slowly. You're keeping the arms as high as you can. Your fists are up to the ceiling. Rotate, rotate, rotate until the thumbs point up to the ceiling. Hands come back to center. Take a breath in. Exhale, relax the hands down to the ground or the block, and right away start pushing them down into the mat or the ground or the block. Push hard. So this should be a little bit of work. You should feel the arms firing up. How hard can you push down into the ground? Push harder, push harder. 3, 2, perfect. 1, now lift the thumbs up to the sky. How high can you lift the fists up? Thumbs reach, thumbs reach. Slowly start to widen the arms and let the thumbs rotate down to the ground. Sweep the arms back, our nice little swimmer. Rotate, rotate until eventually knuckles comes together and hover above the low back. If they touch the low back, whatever, it happens. Hover and hold. 3, 2, perfect. 1, straighten the arms, rotate slowly through the shoulder. Keep the arms as high as you can. They're not tired yet, they're fine. Lift higher, lift higher, lift higher until eventually thumbs point up. Take a breath in and relax, hands down to the ground. Okay, final time. Option to do what we just did, or we're going to add on. Lift the head up. Lift the chest and shoulders up. And then from here, lift the arms up. Okay, so now the thumbs are really high, right? We're trying to get the thumbs as high as we can. Lifting and bending from the low mid-back. From here, slowly start to widen the arms. And then eventually, thumbs flip down to the mat. Keep the arms as high as you can, though. Lift the chest up. Lift the low back. Bend into the elbows. Hover the hands above the low back. Gonna be harder when you're lifted. Take a breath in. Ooh, straighten the arms. Slow rotation, little by little. Keep those hands as high as you can. Don't give up on me now. Lift the chest up. 3, thumbs up. Hands forward. 2, lift. And 1, release everything down to the mat. Relax your head. Maybe you place your head on your hands, close your eyes, and come back to your little intention that we set in the beginning of class. The whale is right here, sending you fulfillment and celebration. Let your breath slow.
Feel this intention in your body. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, lift your head and shoulders up, slide your hands back, push-up position. Curl your toes under, either lift up plank or tabletop, and then exhale back, downward facing dog. First down dog of class. Crazy. Sometimes we just don't do it right away. So from here, option to pedal, maybe shifting side to side. Remember your palms are spread, or your fingers, I should say, are spread nice and wide, palms locked down to the mat. And then if you've been moving, come to stillness, sink those heels down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift your heels up as high as you can. Look forward. Glue your hands to the mat, so don't let your hands lift at all. Bend into your knees, and now you are going to walk as far forward with your hands glued for as long as you can until eventually you're like, okay, I gotta lift my hands. Try and just see how long you can keep them there. Eventually, hands will lift, or maybe not, and fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Let's take 3. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Last time, lift on up. Stay here. Exhale, hands to the hips. Inhale, sit back, chair pose. Hands come up. Breath in. Exhale, come to standing, Tadasana, hands by your sides, breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, take your hands to your hips. Shift your weight over into your left leg. Draw your right knee into your chest. Find your balance. Take a little bit of time. It's the first time I've made you do this. Once you've got your balance, lower the knees slightly and straighten the leg. So first, before we move, bring your ribs and your hips together, like you're crunching. We're going to move into a warrior 3 with this shape, crunched slightly first. So let your hands stay where they are, foot comes back, warrior 3, while trying to bend ribs to hips. Extend right foot back, foot or leg is as straight as you can get it, foot is flexed to the shin. It should feel a little weird, that's fine, because actually typically what we do is what we'll do the next time. Try and hold. If you fall out, come back in. 3, 2. Okay, 1, come back up, draw the knee into the chest, and release. Hands by your sides, Tadasana. Now we're going to do the opposite. So you remember the bowl we created, or the movement with the pelvis? We did first tucking. Now you could even bring your hands just to feel, one hand to the front, one hand to the low back. Pop your booty back. So we're really creating an arch in the spine. We're going to do the same leg. So switch your weight over into your left leg. Make sure you're still doing the same leg. Draw the right knee up into the chest, but keep the booty out. So you won't be able to get the knee as high probably, and that's fine. You could keep the hands here or bring them to the hips, whatever is comfortable. Start to move back into your warrior 3 with your booty popping. And what you'll notice, hopefully, is that you can keep the gaze forward because you're in more of a back bend. So try to look towards the front of the room rather than down to the ground. Extend the leg back. Let the belly drop. Even though we're supported, we need the belly to almost like hang out and hang down to the floor. Booty pops up. 3. Lift the foot higher. 2. And then 1. Come back up to standing. Draw, hoop, the knee into the chest. And release. Feet together, hands by your sides, Tadasana. Breath in. Breath out. Okay, switch your weight over into your right leg. Now, same thing. You could either have the hands in this position, or maybe for me it helped to have the hands in the front. You were crunching ribs towards hips. So round through the spine a little bit, trying to get rid of your butt. Your butt cheeks are still going to be squeezing. They're just squeezing in. Switch your weight over into your right foot. Yes, it's okay if this looks ridiculous. Draw your left knee up into the chest.
Okay, once you've got your balance, then lower the knees slightly and straighten the leg. From here, zip that leg back, trying to do warrior three, with the ribs and hips tucking. What will happen is, as a consequence, your foot won't reach as high, and that means you're doing it correctly. We're trying to do the opposite of essentially our normal warrior three. I'm moving you towards the two extremes, which is the goal. So keep tucking. Maybe you're looking down towards the mat, down towards the ground, or even towards the big toe a little bit. 3, 2, 1. Slowly come to standing, keeping that tuck. Whoop, knee into chest. And release. Hands by your side, Tadasana. Take a break. Breath in. Breath out. Okay, from here, same thing. Now we really push the butt out. So I do want to encourage, in order to expand through the chest and the belly, we have to relax it. You can't engage your core and be expansive through the front of the body. So relax as much as possible. Push your butt out. Tilt the pelvis forward like you're pouring water out of the pelvis. Shift your weight into your right leg. Draw the left knee back up into the chest. As a consequence, it won't get as high. That's fine. This is kind of, I'm just realizing as I'm looking at everybody, we look a little bit like a flamingo. Flamingos. Okay, take a breath in. And then slowly extend back, butt pushes, leg moves back, gaze towards the front. So in this version, you should be able to get the leg a lot higher because we're essentially cheating with the low back, and that's fine. It's not cheating if we're doing it on purpose, right? Lift the foot a little higher, strong through the standing leg, open the heart. If you fall out, come back in. 3, 2, lift the foot up. And 1. Very slowly, draw the knee into the chest, keeping the shape of the body. Exhale, release, hands by your side, back to a neutral spine. Close your eyes. Come back to your intention. Breath in. Breath out. Okay, wrap your arms around your back. I'm going to show a few different options. Option 1, you might just grab for the wrists. Option 2, grab for the elbows. Option 3, clasp the hands and roll the shoulders back. First, your elbows will be bent and hugging in. Then maybe you start to straighten the arms any amount. You'll notice, if you watch my torso when we do this, so when elbows are bent, my torso looks like this, but as soon as I have to straighten the arms, what will happen is the chest comes forward, belly extends. So relax through your belly and then fold from here, Uttanasana. Let the head relax, arms or elbows, things will fall up and over the head. Take one more breath in. And a breath out. All right, next inhale, lift yourself back up to standing. Maybe come through chair. And then release the hands by your side. Shake the hands out if you had them clasped. Full cycle of breath. All right, we are building from here, but first, before we move on to balancing, I'm going to just let us shift the energy. So let's do one sun salutation. Feel free to make it as dancey and relaxed as you like. This is more for joyous movement rather than force. Inhale, sweep up, look up. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, and then slowly step back. Eventually you'll lower down, knees up or knees down, all the way to your belly. Come to the ground. Inhale, lift up, back bend of your choice. Maybe you take mine and fingers come out to the side, lifting up into an expansive cobra. And then exhale, lower down. Let's do 2 more of whatever you chose. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, lower. Once more, you'll lift. And bring yourself down. Hands come by your sides, curl your toes under, push up, either plank or tabletop, and right into downward facing dog.
Same thing, spread your fingers wide, lock your hands into the mat, lift your heels high, bend in your knees, and slowly come forward, keeping the hands connected to the mat as long as you can until eventually you fold into Uttanasana, head is heavy. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sit back, chair pose. And come to standing, hands by your sides, Tadasana. Same thing as we did before, hands will come behind the back. So pick your variation, either arms wrapped, wrists, or hands. Now push your chest forward, your belly forward. Maybe even heels can come into the back of the, the back of the low back. The bottom of the low back, near your sacrum. Hug the elbows together, option to start to straighten the arms. So you're already in a bit of a back bend. Shift your weight over into your left leg. Right knee comes into your chest. We're the flamingo. Remain in the flamingo as you extend. Right leg back, coming to warrior three with either arms, elbows, hands, whatever you've chosen, locked, and try to lift them up off of the back. Remember, you're gazing towards the front of the room, so you're creating a U shape with your body that's nice and dramatic. And if you're not creating a U shape, just imagine you're creating a U shape. It's all in the head. 3, 2, good work. Lift that foot. 1, come back to center. And just release, hands by your sides, Tadasana. Breath in. Breath out. Okay, other side. Find the lock of the hands, the grab of the elbows, whatever you've chosen. And then draw first. Actually, sorry, I messed this up. Shoulders back first. Expand through the heart, let the belly relax. So our upper body is in flamingo. Then we can lift the left knee up. From here, straighten the leg and slowly sweep it back into your warrior three while you straighten the arms. Ideally, we're lifting hands and arms up off the back as high as we can get them, creating a big U shape with the body, gaze towards the front of the room. Strong in the standing leg and hold. You can do it. If you fall out, come back in. Lift those arms higher. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly and controlled, come out. Hands by your sides, Tadasana. Let's take one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Close your eyes. Come back to your intention. Feel your breath. Two more inhales and exhales. All right, blink the eyes open. Let's flow through one more Sun A, and then we're moving on to our peak pose. So again, make this as loose and as dancey as you need. Inhale, sweep up, look up. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, plank or tabletop, lower down slow. 3, 2, to the belly. 1. We have 3 back bends, so place your hands however you like, and then inhale, you'll lift up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Again, lower. Last time, come on up. Nice, lower back down. Hands come by your sides. Curl your toes under, push up either plank or tabletop. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Last time, locking the hands to the mat. Lift those heels high, look forward and keep the hands connected for as long as you can. Knees either straight or legs straight or knees bent until you can fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sit back, chair pose. Exhale, come to standing, hands by your sides, Tadasana. Readjust to being standing, close your eyes, breath in. Breath out. All right, open the eyes.
We are going to move on to our peak pose, which today is dancer's pose with a few different variations. So I'm going to give some options, but first we're just going to do through the traditional dancer. So let's take your right hand to your hip, left hand to the ceiling. Nice. From here, shift your weight over into your left leg. Kick your foot up towards your butt. So remember what we did on the floor, same shape. Let your belly start to expand forward, forward, forward. Push your chest forward, belly forward. Now from here, you can take the right hand out like a serving platter and reach back and grab for the inside, not the outside, inside of your foot, which means your shoulder will be in external rotation so the shoulder is able to roll back. If your shoulder is rolling forward, grab the opposite side of the foot. Belly is open. From here, start to kick the foot into the hand, lean forward and gaze off your front hand. If you want hot yoga style, you can place your palm face down and gaze off your fingertips. If you want a true dancer style, you can place your palm face up and reach in a big U shape. So you're creating one big U shape from your toe to your fingertips. If you had a mirror in front of you, your toe would be coming up the back of your head. Now your hip is closed, not open. So make sure the hip is closed. If you fall out, you'll come back in, hold 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come out. Release, hands by your side, Tadasana. Breath in. Breath out. Okay, left hand to the hip, right hand high. Shift your weight over into your right leg. Kick your left foot up towards your butt. Now, from here, before you even reach for the foot, push your belly forward. Remember that pelvis movement? Booty out. So you're already bending in the back, already bending in the spine. Then take your left hand out like you have a serving platter. Reach back for the inside of the foot. Shoulder will be rolling out, not inside. Great. From here, allow the chest and heart to expand as you lean forward. Like I said, your choice, either palm face down, front arm is straight, or palm face up and the arm is creating this big arch. Pick what feels best in your body. Close your hip. If you were looking at in a mirror, your foot will be coming up behind your head. Promise. It's there. Even if it doesn't feel like it, it's there. 3. When you fall out, you know the drill. Just come back in. Play with it. 2. And 1. Come on out. Release. Hands by your side, Tadasana. Great work. Breath in. Breath out. Again, inhale. Exhale. Once more, inhale. Exhale. Okay, so maybe you hated that, maybe you loved it. I'm going to give another option if you decided you hated it. Actually, I'm going to give you 2 because we're going to do 2 rounds. So that was our first round. Congratulations, you already made it through it. You crushed it. So option to do what we just did, or if you were like, oh, that really didn't work for me, you are going to just take your one hand high, your opposite hand to your hip, and so whichever hand you have up to the ceiling is the leg you balance on. Remember that because you're going to get confused. Hand up, leg on. So these are the 2. Hand up, leg on. Great. From here, you just take the hand to the hip, bend into the foot, and then you have the option to come forward without grabbing for the foot. So that's option 1. You don't have to do it yet. Just watch. Yep. Option to do this. Option 1. Well, actually, that's option 2. Option 1 was to do what we just did. The third option, if you really want to try it, is a weird variation, but a fun mobility variation. So you're going to clasp your hands. This is only if you can get the hands clasped behind the back. If you can't clasp the hands behind the back, you're going to do option 1 or 2. Option 3 will be to shift the weight over in the proper leg, bend into the knee, lift up. From here, what you're going to try to do is lift the hands up and over the foot until you can clasp the foot and then gaze forward, lifting that foot up. Maybe you can't reach and you're just like, I'm just going to play with it and I can tap my hands. Great. Ideally, maybe one day we create a basket pushing up. So those are your multiple options. You probably have it in your head what you would like to choose. We are going to begin on the right side. So right leg is standing. If you're doing the arm variation, right arm is up. So right leg, right arm. Otherwise, you're going to be clasping the hands behind the back. Hand comes to the hip, left side. Kick the left foot up. So option to grab for the foot.
Option to not grab for the foot. Start to lean forward. Remember, chest and belly open. Create the back bend before you even move into the pose, and then extend and find your dancer. Palm could be face down, palm could be face up. What I want to encourage you to do is when you fall, try something different. Find a new line of energy to stretch through in the body. I'm going to make you hold this a little bit longer. So try to take 4 more really slow breaths in whatever you've chosen. All those little strong ankles supporting you. Great work. 2 more. 1 more. Great. Come out. Hands by your side, Tadasana. I know, such a long hold. Breath in. Breath out. Okay, great. Other side. Left hand comes up. If you're moving with hands, left leg is the leg on the ground. Right hand to the hip, or you're clasping your hands behind the back. Draw right foot up towards the butt. Let the belly extend forward. Create the back bend before you move. Push your booty out, 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 and then lean forward. Come to your dancer variation, either grabbing for the foot or not grabbing for the foot, or grabbing for both feet. Now remember, this is a bit of a longer hold. So if you're feeling wobbly, perhaps you can try a different line, a different type of movement. You're almost there. 4 more breaths. Stick it. Just nail it. I'm not doing it because I'm lazy, but I'm watching you and you're doing great. You've got it. 3. Lift up. 2. Don't give up on me now. Perfect. 1. Slowly take your time coming out. Hands by your sides. Awesome job. Breath in. Breath out. Such wonderful dancers. Inhale, sweep up, look up. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, plant your hands. You're going to come to a seat. So you have a few different ways. You could try to come to a seat without using your hands. So you might lift your hands up, try to find a way there. Maybe you can get really creative about finding your way to a seat. That's like a weird way until eventually you find yourself on your butt. Legs at the front of the mat. So you might have to wiggle yourself to the front of the mat. Hands extend forward. Now remember, we are doing the opposite. So tuck your ribs and your hips together. Pull the core in as you reach through the arms. And then try to lower down 1 vertebra at a time. Ooh, little by little, little by little. Keeping that tuck until eventually, we're back where we started. Now, take a few breaths. This class was void of, I don't think I did a single hip opener today. We did hip flexor openers, but that is a different thing. So we are going to end just with a little bit of an opportunity to open the hips. So bring the feet together, take the knees wide in butterfly pose. If this is really intense for you, you could take blocks or put your fists under your upper thighs or glutes just to minimize the stretch. You could even use your hands and just kind of take some of the pressure off of the legs, but ideally we're finding a bit of the hip opener option to sway side to side. This pose has always been very intense for me, so if it feels intense for you, just remember you can come out at any moment. And sometimes all that requires to move out of the intensity is just a slight engagement at the bottom. So you could also try just lifting up a tiny bit out of the end range that you have here. Okay, come back to center. Slowly bring the knees together. And then draw your knees into your chest. Reach your hands through the inside of your legs and come to happy baby. You can sway side to side briefly, or maybe you just stay still. Remember, ideally, these knees are on the outside of the arms, not the inside, so they're not coming into the chest, they're coming towards the outside of the body and armpits. All right, from happy baby, draw knees into center and then release them. wide on the mat. So I want you to take your feet as wide as your mat, or maybe even wider. Palms can come out to a T shape down onto the ground. We're just going to windshield wiper through the legs. So drop the right knee down to the right, left knee comes in, internal rotation on that left knee, and then you'll go to the opposite side. Again, these can be as big, engaged, or as relaxed and loosey-goosey as you like. Take a few more. Okay, come back to center. Draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug and a squeeze. Maybe you can wrap the arms towards or around the shins or the thighs. Lift your head up, forehead towards the shins. Hug in, hug in, hug in. Give yourself the biggest squeeze for 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. Release the feet long, palms face up. Come to Shavasana. Opportunity to take a little bit of time to set up. So remember that scan we did of the low back. If you feel more comfortable with the feet wide and knees together so you can get the low back on the mat in recovery pose, by all means you can take that instead, and maybe even try it and you're just like, oh, that feels a lot better. You could also take a bolster or pillows under the thighs so the low back can be more down to the mat if you have a large space between the low back and the mat. Remember, no rules in yoga. Only doing that what works best for our body. So once you've found your Shavasana, maybe you take a few more wiggles, just get out any last bits of intensity or the desire to move. Close your eyes. Inhale deeply. And then slowly open mouth exhale, sigh it out into Shavasana. If your mind wanders at all, coming back to the fulfillment or celebration that you are focusing on. Otherwise, just trying to come into meditation with an empty mind, relaxed body.
If you would like to stay in Shavasana, please just shut this video off. Dive back in. But if you are ready to move into your week, you can begin by gently reawakening the body with a full inhale and exhale. And maybe start to reawaken the limbs, starting with your fingers and toes. Option to rock the head side to side. And then eventually take the arms above the head, point the toes, stretch long, maybe with a new awareness, right, of what the spine does, and we take this big morning stretch. Then you can draw one knee towards the chest and the other. Roll over onto your favorite side, using your arm as a pillow in fetal pose. A brief transition out of the practice, into the day. And press yourself back up to a comfortable seat, eyes closed, facing any direction. You can either bring your palms together at heart center in prayer, or maybe two hands over the heart, whatever feels more comfortable for you. Come back one more time to your intention. Whatever resonated with you within that card. Inhale. And exhale, bow your chin to seal your practice. New balance, new body, new mind. Lift your head back up. Get reacquainted to the space around you. Thank you all. Fantastic work today. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm really looking forward to seeing you next week for the Sunday Sweat Club. And if you check the email later, I will send out the card so you can read it again with a photo, so you can see exactly what it was about in case you want to muse over it a bit longer. Thank you all. Talk soon. Bye.